what is this when you see, what does this channel feel like? What is it like when this channel opens for you? What is that sensation, the channel is open, and what's kind of going on, and what's coming through, and what am I asking questions of? Those kind of things, I don't really know. I'm just trying to figure out what is it I'm talking to, what has came through, sort of thing. Other than asking questions about my question, it's just what's going on with you, what's coming into your mind, what you're feeling coming through, and just ask questions about that. I'm interested in what's going on with you in there, so I can understand what I'm interacting with at the same time. But it's
Well, part of that wouldn't be about the channel. It would be about me reporting from the out of body state
uh,
where I am going as I'm going out.
uh,
Yeah, and that's not the channel. That's where I'm going.
mm,
Yeah. And so if you engage me in where I'm going for too long,
takes you after.
then that's all we ever get to.
So
Where
how do I engage before it comes through? How do I speak to that part when that goes? How do I bring
not
how do I,
easy,
you know, how
not
I'm trying,
easy before we get it to come forward. You'll have to entice it forward. And you entice it forward by having questions. This is why I'm having you get clear about some questions, some things you'd really like to know. Um, that's not to specifically come here and ask. It's just to have you get clear on questions so that you're more clear within yourself what you want to know. Your curiosity is what's going to draw the entity. If you have
I
no
think
curiosity, if you have no question, a little less likely, only a little less likely, because I'm wanting to bring a channel. But
mhm.
your questions are what's going to actually do that.
I
Again,
just asked you all my questions there before we started. I was firing them at you because that's what was going on in my mind and all day today is how to work out these emotions, you know, why this and why that. Sorry to ask them. I'll ask them again.
the challenging part and the phase where we are in the process is bringing forward a channel, bringing forward a stream of information or stream of energy. And I've literally told you verbatim in a simple sentence how to do that. But the interesting thing is that although that happened as many as 3 practice sessions back, you've yet to do it. And so it's up to you. You can either you can either do it or not do it. But if you do it, I suspect that uh, it will entice the channel. This is why I'm suggesting to do it, because I can feel what's happening in there. But if you don't do it, I don't know where this is going to go, and or how fast, and or how slow. What do you find yourself being most aware of now? Just a few times until I can really get in there. And you have to really want to know. I have to feel your interest. It can't be a rote sentence you're reading. you're, you began our very first practice session that way, and it was like kerpow. And I reported that to you after that session. That really worked. Yeah. So if you could somehow write that question down in front of yourself,
I've got it. I've got it.
word,
Your awareness and what you're sensing and stuff like that. What's
but
coming in.
word for word, what do you find yourself being most aware of now?
Yeah, I've got. What do you find yourself most aware of now? Word for word, written in there.
Yeah, I would put being most aware of now. Uh,
Okay. Hang on.
each of those concepts being a part of what I feel invoked the energy the first time. Yes, and you brought through OL with that simple inquiry. It was pretty fast. He was right there. It took me a while to get to him specifically. We had to journey around a bit, but yeah. Um, and so, yeah, I would say a time or two or three to begin that way.
Hmm. But when I do that, sometimes you cut me right off. Because I'm in the channel, James. Ask your questions. I was trying to do that with you, but you're like,
Now you're
okay.
trying to do that with me once I'm already in. What I'm saying is, as we begin,
Uh,
ask this a time or two or three. After I'm in, yes, no more reason to do it. Once the channel's open, yes, no more reason to do it. Begin this way. Get me in there by asking that question a time or two or three.
but what I want to know once you hit that channel is what is communicating with me at that point. That's what I'm interested. That's what I'm getting confused on. What am I talking to at that point? Because as far
Yeah.
as I can, you're gone.
If there's something coming,
This part caused me a little bit confused. That's why my questions. I got stuck.
the reason I wouldn't go directly there, James, is because I'm not always bringing through a who. I'm not always bringing through an entity, a someone.
That's what makes it difficult. So I don't know. It's hard to.
You don't have to know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
As soon as you're getting the clues that there is someone here, then definitely dive into that.
Because that to me would be the channel. Is to
I,
interact
when
with
OL
the.
was here, I told you this is a mantis like being. This is a white mantis like being. I can feel the eyes on the side of my head. This is me giving you feedback that there's someone here, and absolutely dive into it. But before you have, if you put the cart before the horse, if you ask me who's here before there's someone here, you're going to cut the whole thing off.
That's the problem. Is because you cut me off there. I'm in the channel. But if I ask, I try and ask questions. It's hard to ask. Well, what am I asking? You know, trying to understand what am I
You
asking
could ask
questions on.
what, you could maybe ask what, but who, if there's not a who here, will be destructive to the channel. It will close it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
Go.
We should have too much today. James.
Let's start with a 10-minute meditation.
Yeah.
Okay, James. Give me just one moment. Okay, we can begin.
What's coming into your awareness now?
Just the peacefulness of the field, of the space. I find myself sitting in. There are swirl patterns and blobs of colors, attempting to formulate a more stable image. There is a white light in my lower left field.
Do you feel drawn down to the light?
I'm just sitting here observing.
What are you getting feelings or senses of?
The desert, wide open space. Arizona,
Are you finding yourself in this place?
I find myself in the feeling, in the sensation of the idea
Can you feel anything arising out of it?
I am not attempting more than being aware.
Would you like just to sit a moment and let it come?
Everything is shifting and moving. I am not moving into any one place or location. The field will come in, ideas and concepts will come in, one after the other, after the other. I am writing the shift in the waves through many places. Places are not of any real importance yet. There's a big shoe in front of me now. I forget the name for this kind of shoe. It is black and white.
What feelings does this shoe give off to you?
None that are immediate. The concepts that are attached are amusing. But they have all come and all gone now also.
What is presenting itself now?
The black. Very bright purple.
What can you feel here?
Always there is peace in the black, in what I would call wide open space. Space in a cosmic sense. I would say I am shifting out of body. The weight of the body is no longer directly inside this experience. Lightness, freedom, liberation. Is what I could say this feels like. My vision is changing. My eyes are refocusing.
What's coming into your awareness?
That another energy is present and coming more forward.
What sense of this energy do you feel?
I am more aware that I am shifting into my other body.
Is this your own galactic self?
This is the body I use in out of body states. It is simply a point of consciousness. Referring to it as another body is not as accurate as referring to it as another point perspective, another angle.
What do you become aware of in this body state?
Shifting, endless shifting.
Do you feel drawn to anything?
I will go now. You ask your questions.
What is here in this channel?
What is here is an energy stream. What is here is a field of potential. of potential energy and formulated information.
This is a information.
The question was not heard.
This is an information field.
If you will.
What exists in this field?
There is nothing that does not exist in this field. What is capable of being pulled in and through this energy stream is up to you.
Is there beings there wanting to come through?
This is not a place as such. This is I am looking for the word. Place is not correct. But this is a place prior to the formation of features such as beings, entities, persons. This is the place of potential that exists prior to the formation
How can we create a connection? Yeah, how can we turn potential into a communication?
ask a question. The correct energies will connect and flow through the energy stream to you in reply.
I'm looking to connect with beings close to humanity, close to our sector.
No question has been asked. The channel is narrowing. The fields are altering. The sensation is changing.
What do you mean, Bingham? What are you becoming aware of?
My feet are asleep and I'm back in my body. James, you had access to everything.
Did I just fuck that?
Could have asked anything.
I wanted a being to come forward. I wanted to speak to something.
That would have very likely occurred had you begun.
So is that a field where anything could have popped through? Is that where you got to?
We went right into the potentiality field. It's just a field of pure potential. It's what is before anything is formed or comes into formation. Meaning, you could have asked anything. Literally anything. You might think of it in a similar way as the Akasha.
Ah.
When I go out of body, there are only 3 fields. There's the potentiality field. Inside this is the blueprint field where the blueprints to everything are drawn up. And then there's the actuality fields, what we know as physical realities and physical spaces, dimensions 1 through 6D, something like this. And yeah, so we just went into what is before anything comes into form. And so, yeah, you could have asked anything. And based on what you asked, the correct energies would have formed into something for you. Sometimes they just form into information and energy streams, and then which is the most delightful thing for me. And then other times they can form into entities and beings, but I wouldn't insist on it. We had a wide open channel.
I'm just not familiar with these bits yet. I'm just trying to learn what these fields are, how they work, how to focus them.
Don't have to focus there. Just ask one of the questions on your piece of paper. Just ask now. And what's really important when you're asking the questions is to, one, ask your question very clearly, very precisely. 2, don't ask too vague or vast of a question. Let that question be as specific and as specifically related to you as possible. And then 3, don't let the question be too long or too large or go into too much detail or too little detail. So, for instance, why is the sun yellow? There's a very clear and precise question. But now it's also a little too short. Like, it doesn't say why you really want to know. So, like you might say something like, why is the sun yellow? I noticed when I was younger that the sun actually appeared more yellow than it does right now, and that now it appears quite white in comparison. So now that's not too much or too little. It states the question and a bit of what your curiosity is specifically, like why you wanted to know. And this is what brings forward what we'll answer.
Yeah, I tried to bring something out of that. I didn't realise you could have asked that part. If you could put
Anything.
it, nah, anything. I was trying to think that's a potential. Is that the potential of something to come through? Right, I get you. Man, I just get you. I mean, no, it's that. I mean, no, it's what to do when you say things. Where I can go, what I could ask at that point. It's quite difficult. Trying
Anything.
to learn it.
The
Trying
only
to learn
time
it.
you can't ask anything is if I myself am too forward, haven't gone in deep enough yet. That's the only time you can. But if I'm way out, this is anything. This is,
Anything.
yeah, anything possible can, yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking to really bring into your channel? Is there anything specific you actually want to open up to and actually bring
Information, new information,
new information?
information the world needs right now, new ideas, new energy, new perspectives. It does not have to be a person. It does not have, yeah, I'm not trying to bring forward, say, specifically my galactic counterpart. Yeah, I don't narrow it.
Mm. You're just keeping that wide.
I am wanting to open my channel so I am an avenue or potential avenue to bring necessary, needed information and energy to the planet. That's my purpose. That's my
Mm.
point of focus.
So it'd be good to take it different from other channels, something different, something more, perhaps. I don't know, something beyond just the kind of
It's not
interacting with
different
beings.
from other channels. Other channels that had to practice to open their channel had to go through the same process.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
Most people don't show you their process of practicing. Most people show you the culmination, you know. So they got to the point where they could open a channel and an entity started coming through and they started channeling that entity and they're showing that to you. I'd say even less than 5% of those who channel show it to you. They keep it to themselves or their immediate environment. They don't publicize it. So that's only a small fraction of the people who even come to the point of an open channel. Yeah, but don't try to get anything in particular. We're not there yet. Once the channel's open, simply ask your questions.
I was just trying to see if I could bring a being. I've tried to get a being or something to pop through that field. I was trying to get something to pop in.
But
That's what I was
don't,
trying to do. But
what I'm saying is don't try more immediately first.
so I was just asking the questions that would probably incite something
Exactly. It's your
to come.
question that causes the
Questions,
formation
right?
of, whatever. But don't insist that it be a
Right.
person. You know what I mean? A being,
Yeah.
an entity. Don't
Doesn't have to be
insist,
that way,
don't
does it?
insist on that. Because then you close us down, you narrow the possibility.
Mm,
Okay, so what I'm saying is don't insist on it. Let's just see what happens. Ask a
yeah.
question.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I just spun the wrong way. I'm sorry. I'm trying to feel. Trying
And
to feel
don't be
something.
afraid to ask your questions, James. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to have there be something that you don't know.
It's a lot I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
but I know what that's like. The first couple times I went to a channel, I struggled through the same thing too. Uh,
Yeah.
because there are those feelings of okay, now everybody's going to know this is something I don't know, and I'm probably the only one that doesn't know. And you know how the mental dialogue can go.
Yeah.
Um, that's not the point of asking a question. Know that you're not going to be the only one listening. So you asking the question wasn't even you asking the question just for yourself.
Yeah.
Wider consciousness can literally see everyone in advance who's going to come view that video and hear. And it's literally speaking to all
Yeah.
at once, principally you, but also all.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
do try and be aware when I'm actually doing this to consider other folks, what they probably want to hear coming in here. I'm trying to remember what all their interests were and what would be interesting for everybody. I'd like to be selfish sometimes. I like to try and
No,
think about
you
everybody.
are being selfish. You are asking your own questions. You are focusing in on yourself, your own energy, your own interest, your own curiosity. You are the person up front asking the question. And so, but it's what comes in that is addressing all of what might
Yes,
come.
that's what I'm trying to get. Yeah.
No, you don't try to get that. That's its job. You need to dive into you.
Yes. Right.
It will be interesting. It knows how to be interesting. I don't know how to, do the channeling so good right now, but that's what we're practicing.
Yeah, the potentiality feel through me. That threw me apart. But I don't have experiences with these things. I've got to learn
Yeah.
what I
Well,
can do with these
we'll
parts.
say we seem to be having, I don't know if you watch the other videos, but we do have the same conversation over and over again about the same thing. And a
Yeah.
part of this is you getting through your own insecurities. I'm through mine. Watch me, guys. This is my process. I suck at this. Come throw stones at me. I don't care. I want to learn how to do this. And so I don't care if I look like an idiot. I don't care if I sound like an idiot. This is the process of me having to work at doing this. I was a natural OBEer, but this I'm having to work
This is
at.
something.
This is a
Yeah.
practice. This is something I'm deliberately having to focus in on and learn and
I've
open.
just jumped into the deep end of the pool. I'm kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just try and learn back
So
and forth.
the more aware you are relative to your own comfort in doing this, is sort of an important part of the process for you. You'll have to work through all of that. And yeah, it's not important to be interesting to other people while we're still in the process of, practicing, of having to work really hard just to get it going, even the slightest. That's not going to be interesting to a lot of people. And that's not relative. We're not trying to get them to be, we're just trying to get the channel open and showing everybody that this is the process. And if you want to do that, this is the process. This is what you'll have to move through. Um, and
It's a
be
lesson in itself.
and
It's-
willing to move through also. So again, between now and when we practice on Wednesday, be doing your practice, be making your observation, be aware of questions you have in regard to, aren't you? I know you have to be curious why well, you say you dream more than what you're documenting in our dream journal and it's our collective one. So first I want to say, why aren't you documenting them there? And two, if you're actually not having the dreams very often, aren't you curious as to why? you know what you could do to help bring forward more dream awareness. um, Let the questions be practical to what you're practicing and what you're really wanting to happen for yourself right now.
I messed up the last 3 nights. I woke up with a memory, but I fell back asleep again. I wasn't fast enough to
So
write it down. I was thinking about it. I dozed off and I can't remember the fucking thing.
my question to you was, don't you want, isn't that something you really want to know?
Yeah, it is. I'm just not fast enough. I'm still dozy. It's fresh, but I fell
Okay,
back
no,
asleep.
no, no, no. I'm not saying, do you want to know your own perspective of why this isn't happening? I'm saying, do you want to know from a wider perspective why this isn't happening? Meaning, is it a question you want to bring to the channeling sessions?
Yeah.
um, we all can, yeah, Casey can answer Casey's questions. They sort of suck, in relative to the level of information and depth of information that can come through as a direct experience through my body in the form of out of body experiences, lucidity and dream states and etc. Um, I don't want Casey to answer my own question. I want that wider thing to come in, and you know, when it comes in, we go out, by the way, out of body, you know,
Yeah.
recognizing that, is the difficult part, bring those questions.
Mhm.
You should be able to give me a list of 1,000 questions you have.
I just thought it'd be useless. I don't ask useless questions.
You should be able to give me a list of 1,000 questions you have. We're nothing but questions.
Yeah. Let's work on just random questions, I suppose, things that are
Your
interesting.
questions.
Yeah.
Your questions. Yeah, the reason I was born into the family I was. What are my connections? What is my connection with my brother so and so? There's questions. They're pertinent to the life you're living and your
Like,
practice.
and so yeah, I can ask those kind of questions in that state. Just at all. Just any questions.
Any question you actually do have. See, here's the thing. While we're just practicing, while we're not very good at this, the only thing that we can do to incite the channel is by asking something that you really want to know,
Yeah.
something that's relative to you. You don't come and you say, "Who am I?" We're not going to get anything, you know.
I suppose is that in past lives and the effects of them. I've got various pulls to various different things
And you
of
don't
interest.
say, "Who was I in a past life?" You say, "I have never had a past life recall of myself in any other life. Is there something I can do to have past life recall?
Mhm.
Like, is there something I can do today to help me have past life recall?" So that's how you ask a question. Why you want to know. I've never had one. That's why you want to know.
Yeah.
And that would be a potential question that would come up out of that, or I've never had a past life recall. Is there a past life? Would that be something helpful to me to have a past life recall? you know,
Just, yeah.
there's
I'm
a
just curious of how you have certain points of like something to do with Egypt and something to do with the Nordics. Is it a past life? Is that why I get these experiences in this life?
I
Is
would,
that why I'm
I
filtered so
would
much
not
now?
narrow anything down. Don't narrow it down.
Throw it down.
It will
Okay.
choose what's most relative to you. But if you narrow it down, you screw yourself out of,
Okay.
the thing that could have been most helpful to you.
Fuck, it's hard, Casey, man. That's so hard to put your question to formulate it like that. It's so difficult. It's harder than you think it is from this angle. It's harder than you think it is. It's quite difficult.
Yeah,
Uh,
but once you go inside yourself and get to know who you are, what you don't know and why you want to know, that is, that is who you are as James. What you don't know and why you want to know as James. That is who you are as James. Fundamentally, fundamentally.
um,
Yeah.
on Wednesday, one of my brothers is coming down from his place. He will be here, but it's up to you where if you mind him sitting there, or I can extend it because he'll be here till your own time in the morning. But this is the one that's just got into the kind of thing. But he's not had this kind of experience. But if it's all right with you, I'll just have him sit there and have a do a session, or I can extend it till he leaves, just to
Yeah.
show him something, just to show him something different. Because he is interested in what my stuff is and what I do, but he's not went there yet. So I
Yeah.
thought maybe this would be something interesting just to sit and show him something.
Sure. Yeah. I don't mind, as you know, if anybody else is around watching, we make these public.
I thought this would be a nice
There's
little.
probably not anything in this one that will be made public because we chatted a lot. It wasn't a lot about the channeling, but
Yeah.
there may be a small section in there that we can do something with. Um,
Yeah.
so I need you to not discourage yourself you will bring the whole thing down. You'll slow the whole thing down. So I need you to not discourage yourself. Okay. Like I'm just probably not going to be good at this today or whatever. Okay. That's no. Put that whole thing down. We're just starting at zero. Every time we're just coming to zero. We're coming to the 0 point. And we're sitting and seeing what happens. And this is just what happens. And this is the process.
So I know.
This is the process. And it can be a slow process or a long process or somewhere in the middle. I'm sort of getting it. It'll be somewhere in the middle, but in the middle closer to more rapid than more slow. And that means probably by the end of next year, we're going to be channeling.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast, but we have to be willing to, sit and go through the process. And we can go through it faster if you don't discourage yourself. Don't tell yourself you're bad at this. Don't keep telling yourself that this is hard. Change all that kind of language. This is a real challenge. This is new to me. I'm not accustomed to doing this. I'm really enjoying the process of getting good at this. This is
Something new.
this is what I'm missing right here. Yeah, I need you to move in that kind of a direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Because when we
I
go
think
in,
you'll get challenges all over the place. I think if you presented a whole bunch of challenges, Casey.
right,
Must be good for you to something
make,
new to try.
make sure that you're telling yourself and enforcing the idea that you're enjoying this, that there is learning, that there is growth, that you are seeing this growth, you know, um, all of that.
I'm appreciating the size of it. It's a big understanding to walk into. It's huge, actually. It's quite. It's big.
Uh-huh.
It's a big thing. Sometimes it doesn't quite hit you how big it is. Sometimes you go in, you're like, you're like, oh, it's a big thing. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than I
And
appreciate, I think.
we just have to be okay with, this being something that's not as natural to us as
Yeah.
what some other things are. The OBing I was in the deep meditative states, much more natural, much more just happened and happened big. Yeah, this not so much. I'm really having to try. I'm meaning practice, focus, and practice. And I need to focus and practice more than the 2 days that we're meeting here. And so far, there's not a lot more that I have made space for, and that's another reason I've uh, redone our consciousness experiment. That wasn't really a consciousness experiment because nobody understood what the experiment was. So that I can have more time for this. So, uh, at least twice a week, and it's not that I don't meditate. I don't meditate for the purpose of bringing forward a channel.
Different.
And I need to do that at least twice on my own, and then the 2 times that we meet. And it needs to be a minimum of that for me right now. What do you think for yourself? What do you need to start getting some momentum going on it?
I just come to the questions, no understanding what I'm actually dealing with. I'm trying to just put
As far as practicing, how many times a week should you sit to practice?
what in the meditation.
No, to practice channeling. Okay,
Channeling.
you're channeling the questions, I'm channeling the answers. Let's get clear. We're both channeling here.
I need a lot of practice. I need a lot more experience in what I'm doing just to be confronted with it, put on the spot.
And right now we're meeting twice a week, usually for about 2 hours, to do the channeling together, where we get the questions and the answers happening on the same page. So how many times a week do you think you could practice on the other days of the week in order to start, building some momentum with this?
So what do you mean? Practice just being in a position of asking questions, sort of thing. Just
You
writing
would practice
questions.
Yeah,
practice asking questions.
you would go inside yourself, see what it is you're really interested in and wanting to know, getting ideas for questions. Yes.
What I actually asked you before we started channeling actually was what came to my mind through my meditations. I was trying to understand the the polarities, the whys. How could it be? You know,
Okay,
the
but rather than
effects of other energies in my life, stuff like that. I
let's,
actually was asking.
let's have two lists for you. Okay, let's format these questions into different types of categories. One are your spiritual questions, such as the ones you just said.
Mm.
Okay. And on another piece of paper, the practical ones, the things about your physical space that you really want to know. I actually really wanted to know why the sun was yellow. That was a fascinating answer that came through to me in one particular channel also. And I don't want to know from one particular, there's not one answer to this question. There's an infinite number of perspectives that will bring
Yeah.
to you certain information that's, very unique and different. And so you could, um, uh, the thing about the questions is it's not necessarily something you don't know. You
But
you could you could ask a question that you have a fairly good grasp on. It's not that you know everything about it, but that you have a fairly good grasp on. But the reason that you're asking it, is for a different purpose.
mm,
I won't go into that so much, but so have two categories. Your practical questions. I woke this up this morning with a side ache. Is there anything you can tell me about that? Um, I know that drinking coffee is not really conducive to spiritual states of awareness. Is can you scan my system and tell me if there's anything happening there I need to be aware of? Things like this, things that have to do with your body, your life, your physical reality and physical space. That's one category.
mm,
And then the other category, your spiritual questions. But here's the thing about spiritual questions, you have to be very precise.
mm,
You can't ask, when we were going into this channel, you asked me a question that was actually three questions. I picked up three different questions in what you said, and that was just three primary questions. There were questions within each of those. So you can't do that. You will not get an answer. You have to
mm.
be very specific. Again, why is the sun yellow? Or our sun is yellow as I see it. Why do I see the sun as yellow and other people see it as white? Be specific.
Mhm. I'm
Oh,
interested in the actual cycles and the astrology parts, because that's something that bugs me. How can these different star systems have an energetic effect on you, if indeed that is the case? I'm quite interested in that one. Interesting.
yeah, those are big questions. You'll almost never get the answer you want when you ask those kind of questions because
Well, I'm fresh in there, so I don't
you
really
put so
know.
many of your suppositions in there that it can't be. And so I mean it really has to be a clear question. So back to how many times you think you might need to practice in order to start building some momentum with this.
I'll have to do that a lot. I'll have to get quite used to doing it
uh,
that
how
way.
many how many times we're meeting twice together, how many times are you going to meet on your own to practice this
I
channeling?
probably do that most days to practice that, because that is something I'm not used to doing. I need to learn a fair bit. So I say at least 3 days a week, 4 days a week, as many sessions I can put in there just to practice thinking about things clearly and writing it, and then try and simplify the questions.
Okay,
I,
so
I,
I have a question. Have you been doing this on your own prior to now, aside from when we're meeting here together?
thinking what I was going to ask predominantly.
No,
There
have
happens
you
to be
made a
different
formal
experiences, but not formal the way you're asking. No, not like this. No, not
let's
writing
take
it
this
down.
serious. Let's take this seriously. We're talking about formal practices. Just like us coming here to meet here, it's not something we can just skip.
Mm-hmm.
We're agreeing we're going to meet here twice a week at this time to do this. How many formal practice times are you going to design for yourself? Or do you think you need to design for yourself? Don't say most days, James. You won't do it. It's not possible. If you're not already doing it now, that's too much. Don't make it so big that you can't actually do it. You
Well,
know,
I'll go twice a week then.
you
I'll
already know that
do.
3 days you're with your family and that you're too busy
Yeah.
to do practices. So, I mean, what I'm saying is let's get real here.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I can probably fire it in there as a formal practice. As to actually sit and write questions down, I could probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday
Okay.
for
So
sure.
write that down.
Mm-hmm.
Write that down on your piece of paper.
Yep.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, formal channeling practice. And what kind of length of time are you going to do your practice for?
Well, at least
50,
an
30
hour.
minutes is reasonable for me. I'm sorry, Andrew, I was going to tell you what I was going to do first. Go ahead.
Sorry, I see it probably an hour at least. That'd be a lot to learn. I'll see an hour just to go off. I'll just start with an hour. That's reasonable time, but I'll see how it goes this first week.
Okay.
What I can do in those hours.
If I had a chair that sat me at an angle that was fairly upright, but all the weight not upright, God, this would be so much easier. I could commit to more. I can't lay down in the bed because I do so much dream work already that I'm always in the bed. And sitting upright in meditation is not real comfortable for my body yet. I'm still working on designing my seat and, opening up my sitting position to where, I'm comfortable when I sit. And so 30 minutes, I think, is all I'm practically going to be able to do right now. I could, the body will start getting uncomfortable, it'll start moving, and because I have nobody asking questions, it's going to disturb the whole situation.
Can you not set like a kind of intent before you hit your meditation for that, just for that particular experience to happen, or you just flowing too much like that?
So I have a process when I go into channel. I'm telepathically sending out the message that I'm sitting here in this energy to specifically open a channel for higher streams of information and energy to come through. So I just start reaching out into the space. I put out the feelers. I ask for the appropriate energy that is aligned with the highest good of all idea, and ask for assistance in opening. I may ask if there is someone here that's coming more forward. I may ask if there's someone being chosen. I may do any number of things as I move through this process. At the same time, I'm getting my symbols. I can see now that I moved through this pattern of symbols, the wavy thing, the caduceus, the infinity symbol, specifically over an event horizon, like perhaps of a world, an arc shape. Uh, the conical shape with the sphere on top, so the ice cream cone, whereas the ice cream portion is sitting up off of the cone.
Yeah, I drew. I drew all those.
And the spiral that I think it goes 6.
Yeah, it's 6 to the 1.
Spiral
Yeah.
that ends, right up there near 1 o'clock. That is very common.
Yeah.
And so
I
all,
should go
all of
something like
that,
that.
all of that happens when I'm in there, but we don't need to talk about that anymore. Ra and I did as I was starting, and I was learning to see what this process was and what these symbols were. But now that I know, we don't need to go into that and just keep saying it over and over and over. Let me go out. Yeah. So after, know that I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm not trying to get into any environment, but if I land somewhere, I'm going to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I'm just wording it wrong. That's what I mean. I don't mean just an expansion. I don't mean going into that expansion and then what comes up. I'm just wording it wrong. I can just change the words.
right, that's part of the thing of getting the process of writing the questions down right, to get the answer that you're actually wanting, or for me to hear the actual question that you're asking. Yeah. uh, yeah, that comes, the more we cohere, the more we sync, the more we get used to one another. But as I'm going into almost a pure feeling state, and I'm just feeling the energy of the word concepts coming in. Yeah. And if you ask them slow and precisely, it helps.
Uh-huh.
When you talk really fast, I,
I get
I,
nervous.
yeah, I can't get what the question was. Yeah. So just slow down your breathing. This will be a part of you asking your questions too, learning to slow down your breathing, to, get into a calm state, to develop that point of attention, to look among your questions at which one maybe you're most wanting to hear on, and then stating it. And learning how to state it real clear, not too little, not too much information, and clear. What color is the sun is clear, it's concise. And then you add, you know, that energy of why you're wanting to know into there. When I was younger, it appeared more yellow than it does right now. And then, you know, whatever else. You'll get better at it as you do it. And when posting them in our conversation thread on this is very helpful to me. Not because I'm preparing to answer any kind of question, but so I can see your progress.
Aye. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see where I'm going.
Seeing your progress helps me progress.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You seeing me progress will incite you to progress. Well, naturally, as we cohere and sync, want to be, caught up with one another, and so all of that's very helpful. And don't just post them there. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Did you do one of your practices today? Talk to me. Let's connect. Yeah, because the more we connect, the easier that this gets.
I need practice just for that.
Right. These are practices within practices.
Everyone's on fucking practice these days.
Okay, so I think what you said is on 2 additional days, you're going to sit for 1 hour and do the channeling practicing of the questions on your own for when we meet together, also twice a week. So it sounds like we're both each going to go for the 4 days of practice. I think that practically, again, I can only commit to a 30-minute sit for the channeling on my own, just sort of opening up the channel, because that's as long as I can sit before the body is so uncomfortable that it's getting in the way, and because there's no questions, Okay, so my practice is on my own, specifically for the channeling, will be 30-minute sits. And in the meantime, I'll look for another sitting apparatus, some kind of chair that sits me at an angle.